now we are going to do something slightly more difficult. We are going to remove this clay that help us to stick the products to the floor. As you can see on this image, there is quite a few products that had to be stick to the floor. So there is some work to do, but we are going to start from this image and continue, because here we have just this one product to be taken care of. So I'm going to do it quickly. I'm going to use the clone stamp for this, because here I also have some dirt. I'm going to cover this naturally as possible. And then as I'm going to get closer to this, it could be quite difficult to preserve all of the edges. So for this, I'm going to make some selection. I'm going to start somewhere here and go to this point. As you can see, it's not perfectly straight as it was, but it could be maybe better if we do it this way, then till here and till the very end. So something like this, maybe a little bit more here, just like that. Now I'm going to hit right and choose make selection. Feather radius, let's keep at 1. It might be a little bit too harsh, but I don't want to have blurred edges later as well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover this part over here. So we losing the natural differences in the color, but because of this, it might end up a little bit better later. So that would be it. I'm going to remove the selection now. As you can see, it's not perfect here, the line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue with soft edged brush using clone stamp. And I'm going to do some moves here, just like this. Soft edged brush and just narrow it down. So it can go actually in line from the beginning of this product here. And I think it wasn't too bad. Of course, few more adjustments. Probably I wasn't careful enough, just like this. So next I'm going to move to this other image. I'm going to zoom in, create a new empty layer, of course, that I'm going to rename into clean. And I'm going to start with the flower. I believe flower is most difficult here, because not only it sticks to the ground, but we have to fix the part of it. I'm going to start with the clone stamp, and this time I'm going to work with hard edged brush. So hard round brush. And first of all, I will try to do some extension here. So this is not easy task. And I hope it will be quite visible why I'm working with hard-edged brush. We need to adjust this well and go down to the line of the shadow that we have here, because the shadows need to prevail and we'll have to match them nicely. That wasn't quite right, so if we need few attempts, that's absolutely alright. This is not bad. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change the brush for my Dodge and Burn brush that is also available here. And with this soft brush, I'm going to try to remove the remaining clay on the bottom. And this is still difficult because we really have to pay attention to all of these edges here. This part, not so easy, but luckily it's behind this lipstick, so I feel it doesn't have to be exactly the same as it was. Okay, so this part is done, and what I'm going to do now, remove this part here, and now try to extend this shadow naturally till it meets the flower. Find your way, how it's easier for you. Is it easier working with soft-edged brush, or maybe something a little bit harder? You don't have to do exactly the same thing that I do. Sometimes you might find it's a little bit easier, maybe working with hardness of 50%, maybe hard brush. Every person is different. So here, with soft-edged brush, I'm going to match it till this point. So it's not ideal, but this is possibly the best thing that we can do with this shadow and this flower here. And for the customer looking from the distance, it will look quite natural. As you can see, this flower, we could say, starts strictly with the floor. We can make the harder the bottom, but for this now, at this moment, it's quite good. So I'm going to move to other things. Hopefully it will get a little bit faster this time. I'm not going to do selections because I'm quite experienced, so for these parts here I feel quite comfortable doing this without the selections. If you find it easier to remove it without with selecting or without selecting, of course, the choice is yours. Also, don't ever consider leaving this clay on the images, because this is no question asked. This clay has to be removed. We don't want this. Also don't want on this image these shiny parts, which make it a little bit easier for removing these areas here. This clay changed the way the shadow should be. As you can see, it extended this, so we need to make sure that the shadow goes straight, just like this. We can use this part, and as you can see now it's far better. And something here. I'm not placing this correctly, and now it's not bad. Shorten the edge a little bit more. When it comes to the products, it's sometimes time-taking, time-consuming, maybe is a better word for this, and not always entertaining. But it's great to possess this sort of skills, because they are extremely useful in the current market. Here, as you can see, this was very easy. I'm just going with the direction of the lights and the edges. And even this I couldn't do right this time. So I'm still doing many mistakes, and I hope you all can learn from my mistakes that I'm doing. So easy thing like this one here, and I'm struggling. Maybe I shouldn't rush so much, or maybe I should just be quiet for a moment. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now as it is. There's some... I feel this part over here, I could do it better. So, the last clay, these two parts, not too easy, but I think I'm going to do selection. It will be just from here, and I think to here, because we have the white bottom. Something around here. make selection. And let's try to make it right for once. Luckily on the bottom I have the selection, so I don't have to stress out about the edge that I have on the top. We don't have to keep the edge in the gray color at the end over here. I think I will do it straight, like this. And over here, maybe no need to go with the selection. Let's see if I can do it. But also I'm not happy with this edge. It's not easy. Maybe I should have use the pen tool for this. And this part need to be extended. And I have to make sure that the line of the edge is straight. So this is how it looks. As for now, I'm quite satisfied. So this is before and after. I'm going to remove all of the shiny parts from the background. Also, after the video, you know how I'm doing this, you know how to do it, and I feel it's better because it will be just a little bit less distracting, and also I'm going to fix all of the edges that could be a little bit better.